this is Dr. Scott Young. And today I'm going to bring the microphone in front of me as well. And today I'm going to share with you an interesting conversation because I've been kind of dreaming about this. Guy was talking to me about this kind of conversation for a while. And I was thinking about what were those triggers? What were those first initial thoughts when you were thinking back in 2020 that you were thinking, man, this is going to be a weird freaking year? You were thinking like, what? Um, what were some of your ideas? And I would love you guys to put in the comments. This freaked me out in the beginning of the year. Now, it might have been a part of the year. That's why I really want you to do me a favor. Like and subscribe. Sorry, like and subscribe. But really, I want to hear your comments. Like when this happened in the year, and tell me in the month, okay? In the month of 2020, it might have been in 2021, but in the month of 2020, this happened and it tipped me on edge and made me go, this ain't going to be the same kind of year, right? So I really would love to hear what you were thinking about. This made me go, ain't going to be the same kind of year. And I'm going to tell you that as I've looked at debt structures, I've looked at economic structures, I've looked at monetary structures. I know that's not the same. You might think they're the same things. They're not. I've looked at political structures. I've looked at election structures. I've looked at governmental structures. I've looked at so many different structures. 2020 was the turning point. And we kind of all know that. That's why I want you to think about that, because we are coming to the close here in late March of 2026. Now I'm going to show you at the very, very end, the very tail end of all these kind of things. And I have to load it up at the very end, but I want you to think about that. Okay. Let me show you a speech that was done by Ricky Gervais. Okay. And I kind of cut this because there's some flowery language. So let's put it that way, because he can be quite interesting. But this kind of freaked a lot of people out. Now, I hate Oscar and Globe speech, right? The Golden Globe speech happened, and this is in January of 2020. Now, most people don't watch these things. This is the only time it was interesting. It was a 10-minute speech. I still have the speech, and I cut it down quite a bit. Watch this speech. This is when we knew that everything wasn't the same. And I have some ideas and some thoughts. At the time, I barely knew anything about Epstein. I sort of had followed him. Watch what he says right here.
He's your friend, but no. And the actors who just do.
They were all on his airplane, right? We hadn't thought about this. This is January 2020. It's not news to us now, but it was definitely news to us then, right?
Do Hollywood movies now, do fantasy adventure nonsense. They wear masks and capes and really tight costumes.
They wore masks and capes. How many people might have masks on today? Andrews. No one had a clue about Prince Andrews, and Gervais is laying the wood on him.
You're nearly 50, son. The world...
Right? And get off the stage, and you get the idea. You get the whole point right here, right? Now, in the same exact month, now I didn't watch this at the same time frame. In the same exact month, my wife and I are at an expo, and it's called the Starkey Expo. Now, we are standing there. There are speakers, and this is in January of 2020. My wife had to pull this kind of thing. And we're in Vegas for this big, it's a hearing expo. Colin Powell is there. We liked him. Matthew McConaughey, everyone wanted to listen to him. And they're all talking, right? And so there's lots and lots of people. Now, we had sat kind of close up for Colin Powell to speak. And I mean, just happened to be where we were. We're probably a third of the way up, and we're listening. And the Spirit of God comes on us, and we have to like stand up, and both of us just hear, "Get out." And he starts turning against Trump, but it's not just the turning against Trump. I mean, I can live, listen, I can deal with that, but that isn't what I hear in my spirit. This guy is going on nearly a satanic rant. And we're standing at the back of the room and we're just going, what is he doing? And we have no idea what's going on here. I mean, just hating on, in essence, America and hating on Trump. We had no idea the TDS rant that was going on there. And so this that caveat that was happening, Matthew McConaughey, didn't have a lot of experience about that. There's a lot of interesting stuff there, but the Colin Powell, same kind of time frame as Gervais is coming up. This is occurring here. Okay, let me show you another one. Fascinating kind of stuff. I'm trying to do it in a bit in order, but there's no way to put this in perfect order, right? Let me give you another kind of weird one.
As soon as she walked out, I thought, oh, she's sick. But like sick in a good way. It's sick. The outfit is sick.
I loved Kovid's look.
Thank you. Do you mind putting your mask back on?
Can you breathe in there?
A little bit.
Can you breathe in there?
A little bit. A little better like
It's a good look, but we want to keep you alive.
She's sick.
What? This is an April 4th, 2019 Project Runway. They have a person named Kovid putting up there and wearing a mask on. I'm sure you guys have some of your own stuff here. One of the things that I found completely fascinating is some of this kind of stuff, right? The virus can't travel 6 feet, but it can travel 6 feet, but it can't travel 6'1". It can live on surfaces except for anything that comes in the mail from Amazon, doesn't travel to Target, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, or any grocery store. It's harmless in protest, riots, and looting. It's deadly in bars. It's only deadly in bars, restaurants, small businesses, hair salons. It cannot live in your food as long as you go and you get it to go. Do you know that there were liquor stores that were open all the time? I talked to the liquor store that was right down the street. They were open the whole time through. And I'm like, what? And he said, yeah, we were so slamming busy. We couldn't close, that we made a killing during that time frame. And I'm going to show you stuff that'll mess you up here. Actually, I'm going to move it to the front of the list here because it's too wild, because it's related to this kind of thing here. Let me show you another one here that kind of, pisses me off, because this is something that they wanted to put in the Tulsa area. They were pushing us to be able to put out in front of my credit card machines, in front of my front office people with this.
Welcome to 525.
This guy was making fun of it.
Right there.
Oh, I come over there?
Yeah.
Oh, and then we just come and talk face to face?
Yes, sir.
Oh. This seems a little absurd, doesn't it?
I mean, come on. You have a idiot screen here, and you know what? To get the cost to get one of those screens, it was like hundreds and hundreds of dollars to put up that idiot screen. I'm gonna mute it here, but to get a screen like that, and she's wearing a mask, and you're like, what are we doing? And he's making fun of this. And for a credit card machine, she's going to touch it. This is how stupid it was. We knew that everything was a lie, right? Let me show you another kind of level of going, what is going on in the world here, right? Let me show you some other things that I thought were just completely off the rocker.
What do you think he's doing?
People
Okay, this is no joke.
Now I got to back up here. The guy's skiing, and they actually have like cleaner, and the guy's, what is he doing? He's got big old gloves on, and I mean, people had lost their ever-loving minds.
Okay, this is no joke. This is it's great.
Not social distancing.
Put your mask on.
Get away from me.
Put it
please.
on.
For freedom. Stop it.
Whoa, whoa.
What is going on inside your head?
So this guy in Michigan came up with this idea.
6 feet apart. Oh yeah.
Extreme measures of self-isolation.
I mean, people were absolutely, I'm going to mute the sound because it just, with this, they were losing their minds. And I believe this is where people, this is some of the silliness and the craziness that was happening. And we were bringing up the abnormal. I mean, look at that. Does that not look like something we would put on a dog? Right? This is how we were making that people to feel. Like, what? Dog shields we want to put on humans? What? Take a bite and eat again. What? And that's really good for the environment. And we're underground, and this is some crazy stuff. I mean, like, what are we doing? People kissing with masks on. I mean, when I had seen some of this stuff, this is where I was like, I never wore a mask, and I mean, this is stuff I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. Beating people up if they didn't wear their mask. Wow. Crazy, huh? Crazy. It almost seemed never ending to see the craziness that was happening. And then these kinds of things that were so irritating in nursing homes. He's at peace. We're so sorry that you weren't allowed to go inside of those places to watch your parents pass away. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. This is the kind of stuff that was happening. This was in New Zealand.
Right. I therefore offer you all a very warm welcome as we unite in love and friendship to...
I'd have said, screw you. Sorry. I'd have said, no way. This is my mom. This is like the woman, she's sitting there and her husband has died, right? I said, no, not happening. Like funeral home director, 6 feet apart kind of stuff. No, not happening. The church did this. And people like complied with it.
They're from the same household has to bring their own tennis balls so that you don't touch other people's tennis balls with your hands. You can kick their balls, but you can't touch them. I'm going to blush, sorry. Of course, if you're playing with someone in your household, you can touch those tennis balls. To avoid confusion between whose balls are whose, you can use a marker, like a Sharpie, to mark out, to put an X or put someone's initials on them.
Like, what are we talking about? Why do we have to have, and I know it's ridiculous, but see, that's the whole point. We have a North Carolina idiot telling you what you should do on the tennis court, what we should accomplish here. These are the kind of stuff you're going, huh? And I remember these kinds of things too. Let me go back to this one here. I'm sure you guys remember this stuff. I remember this happened to me. I mean, I wore a mask for maybe 30 seconds at any one time frame at most of the time. And there was a restaurant we went to in the Tulsa area and several other places that that they would get all pissy with that. And you'd wear a mask as you walk up and with this, and I would like have it up here. I would hold it on my face and then I would set it down there as we sat down, and I'd look at the host. Are you happy now? Like, so it lived at 6 foot, but it didn't live at 4 feet. Like this. Come on. Right? It makes no sense. We see this kind of thing that was going on as well. That people started to understand, they started to, get an idea.
Interfacing with the shots, it's true.
You started to see, and I'm muting that because there's other issues. This is when people started to understand that, wait a second, how are young, healthy people going down around the country? This is when I was actually banned from Facebook, when I started to post this kind of stuff. Absolutely young, healthy people who are dying on basketball, football, and courts. These are healthy people who are dying in front of you. And yet we have morons like this.
Guys, when you get vaccinated, I got vaccinated. You're saying I could get this, these delicious fries? Wait a minute. But there's also a burger element to this. Let me check with Bill Neathart. Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? No. This could be breakfast? Okay. I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination. I'm getting a very good feeling.
Huh. You're getting a good feeling about that for vaccination, huh? And then the infamous this. And I muted it. And if we're supposed to be so horrible about people in hospitals around the world, that they were so burdened being in the hospitals, when we have these idiots have dance routines, having ability to come up with dance routines with their masks on, how many hospitals had dance routines going on, right? Did you understand? This wasn't about COVID. This wasn't about 2020. This was about so many more things going on here. This told you the world wasn't the same, right? And as a healthcare provider, as an audiologist, I never complied with any of this. I wouldn't comply to any bit of this stuff. I wouldn't push any tiny bit of this because there was no one needing this kind of stuff. There was no ability with that. There was no one in the hospitals needing this kind of stuff. And I'm going to tell you a story here there is a hospital right now pushing all in the Tulsa area, pushing all new employees to get that requires a vaccination for all new employees. They're requiring anyone who comes in for any level of surgical or to get a CT scan or MRI, to get they call it a flu shot, but that's a COVID shot kind of thing. This is the sickness that they're doing because they're playing around and thinking that their F around kind of statements are not coming. Guess what? Their time is coming. Now I'm going to upload this one here, and couldn't do it at the time. So let me show you this one here as we kind of end up here. And many of you kind of are frustrated with this. Watch this one.
More in common with a Trump supporter or a radical Islamist?
Radical Islamist.
You saw someone wearing one of those red hats chanting "Make America Great Again," or you saw someone shouting "Allahu Akbar" running down the breezeway here. Who would you feel more safe with?
The one shouting Allahu Akbar. Yeah.
You would support the radical Islamists.
Yeah.
What is it about Trump supporters that you don't think you'd get along with them so well?
I'm gay.
But you would get along with the radical Islamists?
Yes.
And you're gay?
Yes.
In solidarity with radical Islamists, would you look at the camera and say in solidarity, Allahu Akbar?
Allahu Akbar.
And would you say, "Make America Great Again" in solidarity with the Trump supporters?
No.
What is a bigger threat to America today, radical Islam or Trump supporters?
Trump supporters.
I say Trump.
Trump supporters in MAGA.
Yeah.
I would say Trump supporters and MAGA.
I would have to go with the Trump supporters.
Trump supporters, MAGA.
Trump supporters and MAGA.
See, these are the kind of people that they have been through the COVID freak, and these are the ones that have gotten the vaccine. They have had the brain swelling of their mental faculties, and they've lost it. And so these are the kind of people that are going to really struggle when they wake up. And so that's what I'm trying to say is that we look at them, and I look at them with pity. I do see them, and I see them with pity. And we need to pray for them. We need to pray for them because when the end comes, I know some of you get mad at them, but the reality is they are American citizens too. They're when they wake up, and they are gonna wake up because the EBS is coming, the end time is coming. Now, I'm not talking about end time issues, or I'm talking about tribulation issues. I'm talking about the end of the craziness, because all of the stupid is going away. When that stupid goes away, and they realize that they supported the COVID narrative and the government narratives of the silliness, what happens is all the lies go away, and they say, wait a second, that's what I supported? That's what I sat by? Is that really what you want to stick with? 2020 was about showing the narratives of the past. Not just the COVID issue, it's all the narratives of the past, so that we could break them and start something anew. Are you ready for the new? If you're awake, don't let your hope pull you back because you're tired. Everyone's tired. But guess what? Be energized, because there's a new day coming. Thanks so much.